If you haven't seen it yet, a rules official called Nikko on a time violation on the 18th hole in round 2. Nikko proceeded to get up in his face, ask him why multiple times before telling the official to step away.
Ask him why is like a nice way to put that, basically what he did.
Yeah, that was a nice way.
He basically yelled, why? Like right in his face.
Before telling the official to step away, which the official did, and then Nikko went after him and gets back in his face saying, you want to stare me down? And then the camera cuts, so we don't really know what happens beyond that. After the round, he was approached by the PDGA director of competition and refused to cooperate per the PDGA statement.
Yeah, bro. Like, that's even better that he doesn't even cooperate afterwards.
The PDGA statement says, additionally, when approached by Jeff Jaquad, PDGA's director of competition, for further information on the incident, Mr. Locastro refused to cooperate or even discuss the matter. And then Competition Manual 303.B8 states that obstruction of or failure or refusal to cooperate with any investigation by an official into a player conduct or the conduct of another player also constitutes as player misconduct, which led to Nikko being disqualified from the tournament. Since then, Gateway has made the following statement. Gateway Disc Sports does not condone the actions or behaviors of our mixed bag sponsored player Nikko Locastro at the European Open yesterday. Effective immediately, Nikko's contract with GDS, Gateway Disc Sports, will be suspended until a full investigation surrounding the incident can be conducted. We apologize for any damage his actions may have caused for the European Open, its organizers and sponsors, the PDGA, the Pro Tour, and the sport of disc golf as a whole. Gateway Disc Sports is a small business that employs dozens of people and supports thousands of courses, clubs, players, and events. We ask the disc golf community not to hold our brand, distributors, supporters, or affiliates accountable for the actions of one individual player. Clash Discs, his other sponsor.
I want to know what lawyer they got to write that statement because it's very eloquent. And I'm just like, who wrote that?
That must have been a difficult conversation.
Yeah,
Poor
it's a weird
Dave.
Clash Discs also released a statement and said, Clash Discs would like to thank Nikko Locastro for apologizing for his actions that took place at the European Open. However, we do not condone these actions or behaviors, and because of this, we will not be continuing our professional relationships with Nikko Locastro. We wish Nikko the best for his future. Nikko then
baby.
posted an apology on Facebook and Instagram. He also sent out some tweets. I'll read the tweets here.
Do you want me to read his Instagram post?
Post his... let me see.
The Instagram post was pretty basic.
Nikko said, as you know,
I've Twitter. Never mind, I didn't see his Instagram.
Nikko
post.
said, as you know, I've made a mistake in my disc golf career. I'm taking temporary leave of absence. I'll be back with a new outlook. Positive change is necessary for me right now. I love the sport of disc golf and have made a commitment to work on my mental and physical health. And then he said another one that says, I love all of you who will support me through this process of self-reflection. It's okay to fall down sometimes, but it's never okay to stay there. There's an opportunity for me to do some inner work. Probably not his option to take a leave of absence.
He's going to be given a leave of absence.
It's like Ryan in The Office whenever he's like, I actually decided to do some community service. And then Jim's like, oh, you mean like court-ordered community service?
Yeah. So people were trying to defend him, saying like, look at other sports. People go after refs or official.
And they get fined.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're overlooking a few basic things. First off, pace of those sports is typically a lot higher, which makes the outbursts seem to fit a little bit more.
Well, but also, okay, two things. People were bringing up the baseball one. First of all, arguing with the ump in baseball it's like fighting in hockey, to where like it's such a part of the culture of baseball and the spectatorship of it that like it's not even like, it's almost considered part of the sport. And guess what? You get ejected for it most of the time. Second of all, if you did that like in basketball, for an example, if you got up in a ref's face like that, you're getting fined. You're getting your tech, you're out of there, and you're also getting suspended probably.
Yeah.
Like there would be consequences.
Second, those outbursts are basically always accompanied by fines, technical fouls, ejections, etc. And there's been several cases of suspensions on top of that as well.
Yeah.
So you can't really defend them by looking at other sports. I did see one that was crazy where a tennis person like went and beat the like ump's stand and almost hit him in his ankle, and apparently he wasn't suspended for that. My response to that is that was just a poor look on tennis. Like they should have suspended him for that.
The other thing is like this is a different sport, so like let's not use the other precedent.
And regardless, I think what we have to talk about here is disqualifying him from the event. Easy, low hanging fruit. Like that had to be done. Secondly, what do you expect the PDGA to do from here? Because depending on how the PDGA interprets this, this could lead to a suspension up to 24 months.
Yeah, well, the problem is if you look at the PDGA rules, he like did literally textbook, because they have in words intimidation and stalking, like stalking the guy down, like not like stalking, like following.
Well, no, I think Class A offense, though, a lot of times is talking about like stalking.
Oh, okay. Well, in any case, intimidation.
Intimidation is
like
big one.
Written right there, and that is like basically what he was doing. And so if they look at their own guidelines, then he fits right in that Class A. The problem is too, like Nikko has always, had some problematic things happen. He never really takes it out on other people, so it's kind of always like whatever. But this is different. Like this guy, literally, it's so rich because everybody. The last time we talked about Nikko taking too much time, everybody went, stop complaining, just like grow a pair and call him on the time violations. Like you shouldn't be scared to call a guy on your card. A rules official does his job, calls him. What happens? He almost gets punched in the face. Like that is why people weren't calling him, and that's what I always said. Like, oh, there's probably a reason they're not calling him. It's because they're scared to. This is why. Because maybe this isn't the first time this has happened. Maybe he's done it before on non-televised cards or like.
Which props to the Disc Golf Network for cutting back to that moment.
Yeah,
because that wasn't on coverage.
Yeah,
they were like this happened moments ago, and then cut to it to show everyone what happened. So pretty baller move there.
Yeah, I just can't even like it. Well,
personally, I expect somewhere between like a 6 to 12 month suspension.
I would guess right on a year is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. Going on, like coming into all of this, throughout this year, I've felt bad for Nikko because like he, within modern day disc golf era, he's earned this like bad boy rep and stuff. And you can tell that like sometimes that really gets under his skin and hurts him because he's like, I've done so much good for the sport. And like you're overlooking when he was like the best player in the world in like the 2009 era. And like so much has been washed out. And so I was feeling bad for him. But then you go and do something like this and you just prove everyone right. And so like at some point he's got to be held accountable. And to me, why I think a suspension is necessary is like if all they do is disqualify him from the event and he shows up, obviously he said he's taking some time off, probably hoping if I take some time off, maybe they won't make me. But regardless, like if he shows up to the next event, let's just say he rolled up D-Glow and he's like, I can play.
Yeah.
Who's calling this man? No one.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You just watched what happened. And like, what if I'm on hole 2 and I see him blatantly foot fault or in Nikko's case, take a minute and a half. Yeah. No chance I'm calling him because I'm like,
no, dude.
I'll play a 6-hour round. I ain't trying to get my teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
why am I calling this dude? So he's like, at that point, whether or not he's actually a danger to those around him, he feels like a danger to those around him.
Yeah.
So whether or not he actually would act beyond what he did, because like at the end of the day, he didn't punch anyone that we saw.
Yeah.
He didn't like do anything like physically. He just intimidated the crap out of someone and got up in their face like he was going to start a fight. Yeah. And if the official would have got back up in his face, who knows? A fight might have started.
What a childish thing to do. Like, imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it's
like
such a like small brain thing to do to just
now
like,
at that point
get up in somebody's face like that.
But now at this point,
especially when there's like no.
There's like no
actually
reason.
have a reason to do it.
Like, oh my, like that's
wrong.
your
That's my
first
favorite thing.
reaction is like, let me just get in your face and stare at you.
He's like, why?
Time violation. Why? PDGA rules. And he's like, step back from me.
Yeah, like it's
you
like
got me
it's
there.
like a school bully reaction to something.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
oh my gosh, grow up.
But yeah, so in my opinion, like the PGA has to suspend him.
Yeah.
Because like you can't let him back out on the course right now. And also, then like if you don't suspend him, it brings in the question of like why the heck you suspend Bradley Williams so hard a few years ago.
Yeah.
And also the next person who does it's like, well, hey, I can intimidate the frick out of my card mates because I'm not getting suspended.
I will say that Bradley Williams, I think that was really bad precedent. So I think we need to
I think they overreacted that.
Yeah, I think we need to, if Nikko only gets a year, we don't need to all be like, well, then how come Bradley got 2 years? That was a bad suspension.
I think Brad.
So we need to let that go, but also understand that he at least needs to see some time.
That's what I'm saying. 6 months takes
Justice
Nikko
for
through
Bradley.
the rest of the year. Yeah,
Justice
free
for
Bradley.
Free Bradley.
Nikko needs at least 6 months, in my opinion. That gets him through the end of the year, but he's back before the next tour year. If they come out with 6 months, I'd be like, okay, you know what? That makes sense. I also, if they come out with 12 months, I'm like, that's completely fair too. If they come out with 2 years, I can see why, because again, it's in their rule book. That could end the career of Nikko Locastro.
Yeah, no, it's there's no doubt. Like, I mean, he is, in his young 30s now, but like, he is one of those guys that's been clawing around and like still able to cash and like show up and like do okay on the tour. But the tour is getting better really fast, and if he has to take 2 years off, that could be it.
Well, like 2 years,
he might
like
not be able to make it back.
You'll lose your sponsors. He already lost. He's suspended by one, lost the other. If you're not playing for 2 years, I mean, what would people pay you for? like sponsor-wise, nothing.
Yeah, that's another big
And
thing.
so,
Is,
like,
getting your sponsors
you're not going to
back.
have any income.
Right.
So, like, 2 years
Yeah, I
of,
don't know.
like, you got to go find a way to make money, and then
tough.
you're not going to be able to practice disc golf at the level you do. That's what I'm saying. If they went to the 2-month, this could legitimately be the end of Nikko Locastro, like, as far as a player goes.
Yeah. He's one of those guys, too.
That side makes me sad but at the same time, like, that side makes me want to feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad.
But on the flip side of the coin, I'm like, oh, just don't be an idiot.
Yeah. You had your
just
warnings.
a very simple thing. Don't act like a toddler getting their toy taken away, and you won't be here. So I'm very curious to see what the PDJ does. I expect it to be between a 6 to 12 month suspension, but I think if the PDJ doesn't suspend him, I think that's a very bad move at the PDJ. If the PDJ is like, you know what, we disqualified him from a major, he's not suspended. Then that one I'm like, that's a
really
very bad move by the PDJ in my opinion. So I think he
Yeah.
has to be suspended of some type. I'm very curious to see
I
what
wanna
it will.
see-
I expect a statement today or tomorrow.
I want to see a suspension come out and then like an appeal and like a hearing for a suspension. That's what I want to see.
I expect we'll hear today or tomorrow because I'd imagine they didn't want to post prior to the winner. Obviously, they didn't want to take any attention off the event, but they obviously need to post before the next event that he could play in.
Right.
So I would expect a statement of some type to be made today or tomorrow. It might
see.
come out before this podcast comes out, but
I
just know that he's begging for like some forgiveness right now, but like, I hope that he should.
I mean, but the thing is, like, you were given a lot of time to change. Like, it's not like you weren't aware that you take too much time playing disc golf. Like, it's not
That's
like
the thing I don't understand is like literally like an hour ago you guys made a joke about me taking too long like playing disc golf, and I will never do it again. Just because I'm like, well, I'm obviously if somebody else notices it, I'm not going to do that again. I can't imagine if it was actually like a rule called on me multiple times. Like,
if you watch
I feel like
Nikko
you should be able to
play-
figure that out.
If you watch Nikko play up close, he is so in his head. Like I was literally like on his card once caddying for Brody, and like you watch him play, and he is so in his head that he's not even. It does not even cross his mind how long he's been standing over his lie. Like he just has to work on his mental game and mental just like capacity in general to like not overreact to things. Like it's just it's sad because like you can tell like he just kind of snaps and like. It's a bummer, but like you gotta figure it out, or you can't put yourself in situations where you're gonna get to that level of stress to where that's gonna happen and you're gonna hurt somebody.
Well, like that's what you got to look at the positive side of Bradley Williams' situation, right? Was his suspension way too long back then? Absolutely. I think the PDGA has adjusted things since then because I remember that there was I don't want to call it a strike, but like players were refusing to play until they heard more of an explanation back then when Bradley got suspended,
right?
Because it was just kind of out of the blue. For shoulder checking Matt Dollar, but it wasn't even really that much of a shoulder check. Long story. But the bright side of that is if you look at Bradley Williams now, the dude is the most calm, composed, professional.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Yeah, and like he now looks like a joy to play with.
Yeah.
He looks like one of the like best guys to play with out there.
Yeah.
And he was able to come back and play at a higher level than he played at before.
Yeah.
Super smooth. Like he's one of the smoothest throwers out there. And now it looks like everyone's just excited to play on a car with Bradley Williams.
Yeah.
When you go back to like pre-work on himself, Bradley, it was a very similar thing to Nikko.
You know who else was kind of like it? Big Germ. If you remember, Big Germ back in the day used to like freak out on the course. Like there are events where you can like find him like on coverage. This is way back in the day. Like just like yelling and like being so mad, and like obviously now he's a delight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
I'm not gonna lie, I don't see that happening for Nikko though. I want to say that he's gonna figure his crap out like during this time. I think he might put on a show whenever he comes back, and he's gonna for the first few rounds he's gonna be calm and collected. But I think that there are probably deeper rooted issues that
well, the thing is like
cause that kind
when
of
you come
anger.
back, you're on probation. So like
Yeah.
you come back,
Well, yeah.
you're back, but like you can't just be on your best behavior for one event. Like you gotta if something happens, gone.
Right.
Yeah,
done.
I think that whenever you're showing that kind of stuff, there's other stuff. That you
But
gotta
I
take
also
care of.
feel like this has to be close to rock bottom as far as the disc golf thing goes for Nikko. And a lot of times that's what it takes to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should like.
Got
I mean,
nowhere
he
to
said
go
he's
but
gonna
up.
work on mental and physical health and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
great, because like
Hopefully.
Nikko is again one of the more talented players we've ever seen. If you go back to like 2009 to 2012 era, and like what this dude, he was the first one to like instead of developing his forehand, he started throwing back like lefty backhand and stuff. I would love to see Nikko 6 month suspension, come back next year, 12-month suspension, come back, and he's actually worked on himself. He's cool, calm, and collected. And this era, their last memories of Nikko Locastro as he finishes and retires is all positive of him, how good he was at disc golf, how he could throw those crazy flex lines,
Yeah.
you know, how good he is at putting, because he's a great putter when he's on too. All of that, and then how level-headed he was, because that's what everyone's memory is going to be of Bradley Williams.
That's very true.
So,
yeah,
like,
you're right.
you have a chance here. So, to me,
He's
that's
got all
what
the
I would
one
love.
more
ingredients.
chance, probably.
Yeah, but that's what I would love is, like, he comes back.
I would love to see that. Yeah.
He's got everything taken care of, you know, all his ducks in a row, and the memory everyone has of Nikko, because, like, this generation's memory of Nikko isn't great.
Yeah.
Generation before it, pretty good memory of Nikko when he was an absolute baller. He has a chance to come back and, like, change everyone's perception, and, you know, I think that would be great, and I think it starts with a suspension from PDGA. I think that's the first or the next step here.